Yo guys, welcome back. I'm going to do some more Shadow of War videos because of the popularity of my hacked online conquest video. And during that video, a lot of people asked me, what is your build? Like, how is this working? So I thought I'd do a very quick video to link back to in future videos to show people what I'm using and how it works and how it's useful against high level fortresses. So first up, no surprises, is the Wrathgiver sword. It's by far the best sword in the game. There's lots of guide videos on how to achieve it. I personally got it in Rune from death threatening a non-elemental captain, and then you kill him with a ground execution, the multiple punches one. So long as you do that, eventually you'll get an epic sword to drop, and it will be the Wrathgiver. It won't be called the Wrathgiver, but it'll be called something else, and you can just sort of upgrade it by doing its challenge, and then when you upgrade it, it becomes the Wrathgiver name. What that does, it gives you 10 Wrath on an execution, as it shows you, and then my secondary perk is 40 health recovery on an execution. Now, the 10 Wrath on execution also counts for the non-elemental Elven light attack, the big ground pound that produces like a wave. So that's what I'm doing to get my Wrath up once I go into like Wrath form. Or Wraith form, whatever you want to call it. And then for my dagger, I'm using the Arcane Dagger. Nothing special about this particular dagger. It allows me to chain Wraith stealth attacks, as you can see. But that's not the reason. The reason is for the secondary perk, the critical hit damage increased by 33%. Now, for the longest time, I thought this was only on the dagger itself, but it's not. It's actually on all of your critical hit attacks. So having that on your dagger is absolutely crucial, and you can do that on any of your other daggers if they have the same perk. You can see this. I'm sort of collecting quite a few where they have similar perks, but for the primary perk, I like this one the best. You could also swap this out for a Vengeance Dagger or something you have it leveled up, but my Vengeance Dagger is very low, so I need to level that really. Next up, I didn't need another legendary item here, so I went with the Might Mender. I thought it was called the Might Builder or something like that, but it's called the Might Mender. It's a hammer. The reason I use the hammer is because I strap a life gem to it, and hammers have an increased amount of life drain when you attack because of the AoE attack that they have when you land a hit on someone. This will simply just give me 7 might gain per range attack hit and 5 might gain per critical hit. So if you hit a critical, you'll get 12 might gain, which is pretty huge when you're in need of some might for an Elven light attack or something, to build up your Wrath, to go into Wrath form, to then practically become invincible. Right, the next two pieces work together, and that's the Armor of Vengeance and the Rune of Vengeance. The primary perk on the chest piece is to increase damage by 15% when your health is below 35%. That's quite useful because if you look at the set bonus, 2 out of 2 equipped, perform attacks requiring might by consuming 40% of your max health. So you're quite often going to be quite low health when you're using this set if you're just spamming your might attacks. Because if you need to sort of get some Wrath in a pinch in order to go into Wrath form again, and there's no enemies for you to build up combos, and you're fighting hacked orcs which are very difficult to fight sort of head on, you can just whack out an Elven light attack using this set, and it's very good for getting yourself back in the fight quickly. And then with the secondary perk, the gain 30 Wrath when a captain is killed, that's really useful because, as I say, we're all about Wrath in this build, and you're going to kill a lot of captains, especially if you do things like defenses, or if you attack fortresses where there's no hacked captains, or like there's a lot of non-hacked orcs for you to kill, because you're just going to get Wrath all the time. That saves me quite a lot, that does. I'll go into the Rune because it works with that. So as I say, it works with the set bonus, and then also increases damage by 15% when health is below 35. We're going to be quite low health for quite a lot of the time when you're fighting. The reason why having low health is fine in high level fortresses is that a lot of the hacked orcs will kill you in one hit regardless. So it doesn't really make a difference if you're 100% health or 20% health. you're just going to die. So you have to not get hit, and you have to be in wrath form for as long as possible. And this will just increase our damage to make killing some of the hacked orcs a bit more bearable, because like they have so much health. It can take like 30 seconds to kill a single guy. And then the secondary perk here is 50% chance to recover all health when killing a captain. I think this is one of the big holes in my build. I've never had a rune drop with a perk, but there's a perk that gives you 33% more Elven Rage, or like Wrath form. It's the same thing. It's a bit of a campaign spoiler, but the ability changes as you complete the campaign. But yeah, I've never had a ring drop with that perk, the secondary perk, and when I do, it will definitely work its way into my build because of how important it is. But for now, it's health increase, which is fine. Health increase will simply allow me to perform another might attack using that health, to then build more wrath. It's a nice easy combat loop. And then finally, Mask of the Undying. This is just essential in like most high level builds. There are a few high level builds which don't utilize this, but for the most part, you are making a concession if you don't use this. And all it does is it makes Waters of Lorien and Spectral Dash cost 0 focus. Why is that important? It means that you can dash through enemies infinitely, and you can dash towards them when you're in stealth if you need to use that as well. The reason that's important is most hacked orcs, or high level orcs in general, will stop you from vaulting them. So if you're not using the dash attack, you're going to struggle to fight them, to get around the back of them and get some hits in. And this just being infinite dash is absolutely overpowered. And then increasing the melee and stealth damage by 33%, the sort of secondary part of the primary perk. That's just insanely strong, because you will pretty much have like 100% uptime on that perk. You will be dashing a lot. So 33% melee damage is really, really important. And it's why, with the stealth damage increase as well, it's why you can do like serious amounts of stealth damage if you manage to get a captain that isn't immune to stealth, which, I mean, nowadays at like high level fortresses, that's quite rare, to be honest. Secondary perk is undead allies take 50% less damage. Not massively useful. I would say the only reason where this could be useful is if you have a high level captain on your team die during a conquest, and then you resurrect him, or one of your teammates that is a necro resurrects him. Then at least they will take less damage. But for the most part, if you've got an undead captain in your like team, you kind of throw in, because you will eventually fight someone who does fire damage, and your undead guy will get absolutely shit on. So yeah, if you have a hacked orc or something in your ranks and he dies and becomes undead, you may as well just delete him in the garrison, because they're completely useless. But that's the build. So it's the Vengeance set combined with Wrathgiver, and then just a few pieces to enhance the combat loop, such as the critical hit damage from the Dagger, might gain from the Hammer, and then infinite Waters of Lorien and Spectral Dash from the Cloak. In terms of gems, then I do the life gem for the life draw that I was talking about, the life steal that you get from the Hammer, and then most of the others are just red gem for increased damage. And then this does increase follower damage as well on the ring. That's quite important. And I use green for max health to increase, like, it's just in case I can take one hit from a hacked orc. It tends to work out that I can take a hit, but it's not really that important, because for the most part you are going to be low health a lot of the time with the Vengeance set, unless you have lots of might and you don't need it. But that is absolutely everything. I'm going to do some more videos on Shadow of War, because my last one it's done pretty well, and I'm going to do a tour as well of all my fortresses and of all the gear I've unlocked. So look forward to that one. Please like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.